This presentation is brought to you by Coastal Healthy Communities Coalition at the University of New England. It would be easy to see the appeal of just say no in regards to online social networking. If you just prohibit the activity, you don't need to learn about it. And, in our minds, our kids are automatically safer. Though, as many of us know, prohibition rarely works. In some cases, it even speeds up acceptance of the behavior we did not want. Once the forbidden fruit has been defined, our kids find more and more ingenious ways of obtaining that fruit.
They just join. I don't think any of their parents know that they do it, which is funny. Like, a lot of kids just, like, I don't think that their parents would be like, oh, don't do that. And they'd be like, no, I'm going to do this. I want to have fun. I want to feel cool.
I would say don't discourage them, because I know a lot of people who their parents were like, don't get that, you're not allowed to have that, and they turned around and had one behind their backs, and then it just like blew up into like this thing that it shouldn't have been. And so like I would just say, like, talk to them about it, make sure that it's set to private, make sure that they know what friends to accept and what ones to be aware of, like, okay, don't do that. And like, pictures are a big thing. Like, don't let like certain pictures get on your Facebook, because those can never be erased.
When you're weighing out the value of what you spend your time doing, or what things you spend your time supervising, there are obviously the big ones that come to mind. You want to supervise who your child is hanging out with. Obviously, big freedoms like use of the family car, those are things that are always going to direct a parent's attention. The computer, because parents aren't as savvy to this stuff, is something that's easily sometimes pushed to the side as well. It's the computer and it's texting and that crazy social networking stuff that I don't understand. The message we want to get to them is push this right up to the forefront with using the family car, with who they're going out with to hang out with on Saturday night. This is just as important, if not more so.
A better approach is to listen to your kids and then find ways to let them have their freedom while still maintaining sensible limits.
Well, I can tell you our 8th grader just got Facebook, because I was a total stick in the mud and was like, oh man, selfishly, I probably just didn't want it. It was easier just to say no than to try to run through it and set guidelines and be responsible about it. And actually, he's been great. We said, you can get Facebook, but you have to be friends with me and Dad.
Well, my dad has a Facebook, and I think that it's really almost convenient for me, because it kind of makes me monitor what I put on it.
Same,
and
like
what I say and the pictures I have. Because if I don't want my dad seeing it, then it shouldn't be on there.
That is a great motto.
Yes.
Great.
A lot of times kids make poor decisions, and I used to joke that it's their job to make poor decisions. I made poor decisions as a kid. Most of us did at one point or another. And what we're seeing now is just that ability for those poor decisions to be amplified by the fact that everybody can see their poor decisions, by the fact that they could exist forever, in theory, out there on the internet. So I think kids generally are going to make decisions that feel good right now. They don't understand the lasting effect. They don't understand their own morality, as we always see on the nightly news on a regular basis. So it's our job to really remind them.
I think that would be the best approach of actually parents taking the step and start walking in their children's shoes, and just creating an account which is free and putting a picture and showing that you're cool, pretty much. That you're not there to look for your children's or browse your children's profiles and look all the time.
But also young people need to understand how this all works together. And I think that's not only part of social networking and understanding that, but understanding the bigger picture of mass media and communications. And I think once they do, they view things differently.
Talk to them, talk to them, talk to them, talk to them. That's the biggest role that we can play. If you're honest with your kids and you show them what you do, and you set an example for them, they will understand that.
We're not all raised the same. And like, you have to kind of understand that, because like from the different household you come from, you have to realize that maybe your morals aren't exactly the same, and you have to accept that, and you have to realize how to change and be better as a parent and as a child. You have to like respect your parent, and a parent has to do the same for the kid, or else the kid's just gonna be like, I'm not listening to you, are you kidding me?
Social networking sites are the same as any other advancement in society. They're tools that you can use to better yourself. As a parent, you're also in charge of teaching your children how to best use the tools at their disposal. But how do we do this when we are pretty sure our kids understand this technology better than we do?
By going on websites, by talking to professionals, by talking with people who have been in this field and others, and just learning more myself. I've been open to learning more. I need to learn a heck of a lot more to keep up with the technology. But I know what I feel about my children and what I want them to get out of their life, and hopefully I can set those parameters for them.
You know, don't be afraid of it, learn it. Look what you've done in your life so far. You've learned so many things that you would have never learned, you know, 20 years ago. You can do this.
Really begin to have conversations around what are boundaries, why are they there, are they important, how are they important, and what would they look like, what sort of steps would we need to take in order to construct those.
Communication is the key. Talk to your kids. Let them learn from you, but also be open to learning from them. Don't be afraid of online social networking. As we have shown, a great deal of good can come by using these new tools. Arguably, a lot more good than bad. However, do not fail to be vigilant and make sure you have the conversation with your children. Make sure they understand the risks and rewards of online relationships, the same way you make sure they understand those risks and rewards in the real world.
Because it's here, and judging it as bad or good would be the same as generation that judged television as good and bad. And now television is just part of our life. So thinking in moral or ethical terms about social networks is not the right way to think about them. We have just to accept as part of our life, the part of our children's lives, and find the best way to accept this phenomenon as part of who our children are, and find the best way to make it safer for them.
Thank you for your interest and attention. We hope we have helped you understand a little better what social networking is, why our kids love it so much, the dangers we should look out for, and how we can positively influence the choices our children make online.